Today, we're going to talk about a year that honestly changed everything. A year that flipped our relationship with the truth completely upside down. We're talking about a time when the tools to create total fiction got so good, they started to just overwrite reality itself. That year was 2025.
Now, I know that sounds like a line straight out of a sci-fi movie, right? But it really nails a feeling that a lot of experts had at the time. And to really get why, we've got to look at how this whole crisis kicked off. Not in some secret government building, but right in the middle of a natural disaster.
All right, so our story doesn't start with politics, it doesn't start with Wall Street, it starts with a genuine life-or-death emergency.
So, picture this. Florida. A monster storm. Hurricane Melissa is barreling toward the coast. Of course, people are terrified, they're confused, and they're glued to their phones and TVs, desperate for any information. You know, a totally classic emergency situation.
But just as the hurricane hit land, something else happened. Something that had nothing to do with wind speeds or flooding. This was, believe it or not, the very first time AI was used to completely paralyze a disaster response, turning total chaos into a potential catastrophe.
And we're not talking about some blurry, obviously fake clips here. No, these were hyper-realistic AI videos, popping up everywhere, claiming to be live footage, showing entire cities completely underwater. They went viral, and the result was just devastating. FEMA rescue teams got sent to flood zones that didn't even exist, while people who actually needed help were left waiting. It was literally a flood of lies, and it had deadly real-world consequences.
So you've got to be asking, how was that even possible? I mean, just a year before, most AI videos still had that weird, kind of creepy, something's not quite right feel to them. But 2025 was a huge leap forward.
The tech behind all this is, of course, the deepfake. And yeah, the term had been around for a while, but what it could do in 2025? It was a whole new level. Suddenly, the ability to create incredibly convincing fake video and audio was available to almost anyone, and it was dangerously perfect.
And the crazy part is how fast it all happened. In March, all it took was a 3-second audio clip to create a fake voice that sent a major stock tumbling. By July, a deepfake of a former president being arrested was getting over 100 million views. But then came October, and that's when the game completely changed. A new AI model created a deepfake of President Trump that was so flawless, it got the skin texture, the lighting, everything, that it actually fooled a major news network for 20 whole minutes on air.
So here's the crucial thing. You know that creepy, unsettling feeling you used to get from a fake video? That sense that your brain knows something is just a little bit off? That's called the uncanny valley. Well, by the end of 2025, that valley was gone. We'd crossed it. The fakes became perfect.
So when you have tech this powerful, this easy to get your hands on, what happens next? Of course, it gets weaponized. And the reasons why were as old as time itself: the hunt for power and the hunt for profit.
You basically had two main groups doing this. On one hand, you had the financial predators. These guys used deepfakes to create chaos in the markets, just so they could cash in on the confusion for huge, instant profits. And on the other hand, you had political players using the exact same tools to mess with their rivals, to influence elections, and to just sow chaos for their own long-term gain.
And when we talk about financial attacks, the scale is just mind-blowing. In April of 2025, a single fake headline, just a few words claiming the White House was getting rid of all tariffs, flashed across Bloomberg terminals. In just 30 minutes, the S&P 500 swung by $3 trillion. Fortunes were made and fortunes were lost in less time than it takes to watch an episode of your favorite show. And these weren't just simple attacks. They were getting really sophisticated. Just look at the campaign against Tesla. First, the attackers put out a deepfake audio clip of the vice president calling Elon Musk uncontrollable. Then, right after, they hit again with a perfectly forged internal email making it look like it came from Musk himself, saying the company was getting ready for bankruptcy. That 1-2 punch wiped out billions in market value, and you can bet the attackers were profiting every step of the way.
But this wasn't just happening in the US. Not even close. This new kind of information war went totally global. It spread like a digital pandemic, causing instability all over the world.
And what's wild is how these tactics were tailored for different parts of the world. In Europe, a deepfake video showing a fake military coup in France was used to spark political chaos. Another fake, this one showing a peace deal between Ukraine and Russia, sent energy markets into a nosedive.
But in South Asia, the stakes got even higher. A fake audio clip of a Pakistani military commander ordering a nuclear launch. It crashed the stock market and nearly started a real-life military crisis. It was a global pandemic of pure deception.
So, what does this all mean? When you step back and look at all the chaos from 2025, it really boils down to three huge, fundamental shifts in how information itself works.
First off, the weapon of choice for disinformation changed. It wasn't about fake articles anymore. It was about video and audio, which proved to be way more powerful. Second, the money-making side of this got scary efficient. Attackers figured out how to fool the markets for massive instant paydays. And third, and this is the big one, the tech just got too good. The line between what was real and what was fake, it basically just vanished.
Which leaves all of us with a really big, kind of scary question. I mean, for all of human history, we've relied on our own eyes and our own ears to figure out what's real. They're our most basic tools. So what happens to society, to trust, to everything when you can no longer trust what you see and hear?
Because in the world that 2025 created, the whole idea of truth got turned on its head. The new reality is that the damage is done in that split second you believe it, long before any fact-checker has a chance to catch up. The question isn't, is it real anymore? The question is it already too late? And that right there is a world we're all still trying to figure out how to live in.